Hey guys, just a quick note before we start here. Sorry this is coming out so much later than usual, but I overslept. Nothing really more to say than that. Also, my allergies are starting to go a little haywire. There's a lot of smoke in the air, so if I sound a bit more stilted than usual, that's why. Okay, let's go with the show.
Madden holiday is here and we will play all night. Calling sick and sound sincere, in tackles will delight. The fridge is packed with drink and meat, the taste of victory sure is sweet.
So I was going to open up by talking about the big Micah Parsons trade, and then TCU North Carolina happened, and that was ugly with a capital U. I mean, I know I picked TCU to win the game, but I was not expecting 48-14. I stopped watching the game when it went to 41-7. So you know how long I held out for. I think the more surprising fact was the fact it was that the game was 10-7 up until like the 4 minute mark of the second quarter, and then it just all fell apart. And yet, with all the people that are eagerly getting ready to throw dirt on the grave of Bill Belichick, I think we still need to take a step back and remember, one, it's just one game. Football is a hard sport. I mean, it's not a sport where one person can always just come in and immediately turn things around, whether it's a player, a coach, or anyone really. So, again, these things do take time. You kind of always have to remember that. So, again, yeah, let's not put the cart before the horse here, okay? Let's wait things out. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily going to get any better. They have to play Clemson in 2 weeks, but still, it's like, yeah, let's not race to conclusions. I know everyone wants to jump on things. I mean, look at Arch Manning with Texas and Ohio State. Again, another one where everyone was predicting these big things to happen, and then it really didn't. And now, the sky is falling. And it's like, just take a step back. It's one game. You went into Ohio Stadium up against the defending national champions who are going to be hyped up. Yeah, newsflash, you might struggle. That's nothing new. No matter what quarterback, what player, things happen like that, especially in football. Okay, we're going to wrap up our college football talk and then we'll get to the Micah Parsons deal, okay? Anyway, I managed to go 3-2 last week, thanks mainly to TCU beating North Carolina. I missed on Auburn, Baylor, and Notre Dame and Miami, and you know what? Pretty much every game that weekend was a bit of a pick-em. I know Rutgers got out to a big lead against Ohio, but that score was a lot closer than it was. They rallied, just kind of came up short. Baylor, I think they played well, but they had way too many failed fourth down conversions. They would get inside the 5 yard line and then just kind of call a lot of stupid plays. And then, Miami almost blew the lead to Notre Dame, but then got away with the last second field goal. So, again, all of those games really could have gone either way. So, I don't know if that necessarily makes me a good or bad picker in that aspect. Okay, now we'll talk about the Micah Parsons trade. And, I thought it would eventually start to play out that way, but I thought it would be until after the season. I thought the Cowboys would try to maximize the draft capital like many experts would and try to get the best deal for them. And, well, now they just wound up with 2 first-round picks that, even if things play out in the worst-case scenario, are probably still going to be in the mid-20s. And they also got a defensive tackle in Kenny Clark, who's on the wrong side of 30. The only thing I can think of is maybe the Cowboys thought they could use the extra picks to move up in the draft, but yeah, that's highly unlikely. As for the Packers, while I do think this definitely makes them Super Bowl contenders, yeah, I'm not ready to just put them in the big game just yet, or even hand over the Vince Lombardi trophy by any stretch of the imagination. The Eagles are still really good, and they're the defending champions. Like I said, their roster is loaded. They could easily wind up beating the Packers still. They're still in the same conference as the Lions, Rams, Bucks, even the Vikings to an extent. And, of course, you also have to deal with the Chiefs, Ravens, and Bills. So, yeah, it's a good sign, but it's not necessarily a given. You never know. Remember Aaron Rodgers to the Jets? What happened there? Same thing could easily play out. Anyway, the games we're going to be covering this week are Illinois versus Duke, Texas State versus Texas San Antonio, Delaware versus Colorado, Arizona State versus Mississippi State. Then we begin our NFL coverage with Dallas versus Philadelphia, Kansas City versus the Los Angeles Chargers in Brazil, Baltimore versus Buffalo, and Minnesota versus Chicago. So we'll come back and start covering them right after the break.
My truck has 99,000 miles on it, and it's like a brand new engine.
America is talking about split fire.
I feel like I have a new engine.
No hesitation. You hit your passing gear, you're gone. Right now.
Split fire won a United States patent. It doesn't look like any other spark plug. It doesn't work like any other spark plug.
I love them.
I have them on my motorcycle, my boat, and my car.
Love them. Love them.
Split fire at $5.99. America knows it only costs more till you use it.
I can say I'm saving at least $3 to $4 a week.
I use lower octane now. It seems like it runs like I had the premium in there.
I'm probably getting, I would say about 20 miles more per tank full, and that's a lot for me.
They'll pay for themselves basically in the first 6 months you own them.
Split fire. It only costs more till you use it. Get guaranteed split fire benefits for all gasoline engines at leading automotive stores nationwide.
Sir, there's no question that
sales definitely look good next quarter.
Splendid. Call line 3, Miss Gray.
Hello? Jason.
America's future belongs to America's students, and giving your child a good education is job number one. So at Office Depot, we make it our job to give you the best selection of school supplies at the best prices. Office Depot, from the classroom to the boardroom.
Our first game is the Illinois Fighting Illini taking on the Duke Blue Devils, and two teams with fairly high expectations going into the season. Right now, the ACC looks fairly open, with Clemson losing and Miami just barely scraping by Notre Dame. There could be a lot of teams getting ready to make a big move. For example, the big money Blue Devil donors played the transfer portal really well and brought in a pretty significant land in former Tulane quarterback Darian Mensah. Now, both these teams beat FCS opponents last week, and with all due respect to the Phoenix of Elon and the Fighting Leathernecks of Western Illinois, that's not exactly saying much. Now, Illinois is also kind of being thought as maybe even a dark horse playoff contender this year. Brett Bielema has revived the long-dormant Illini program, and they had a big bowl victory last year over South Carolina that seems to have really bolstered the team up. Bielema has definitely the old Wisconsin ground and pound philosophy. Quarterback Luke Altmaier is getting a lot of pro buzz. He could be like one of those sleeper first round picks like a J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix. So, yeah, there's definitely a chance that they could step up and make a move. And to be honest, I think Illinois is the more dependable team. I expect them, with their high hopes, to probably pull away in the second half. It will be close early on, but eventually the Illini are going to hold out and win this one.
Hello. This is soap scum, and it's very hard to get rid of. Or was, until new Tilex soap scum remover. Made specifically to dissolve scum on contact. Just spray it on and wipe it off. New Tilex soap scum remover.
Dole goes where no fruit has gone before, combining the sweetness of tangerine, the zing of pineapple, the pizzazz of grapes, and a dash of passion fruit. Introducing Dole Tropical Fruit. You can't pick it, but you can drink it. Dole Tropical Fruit Juice. It's pink, and it's wild. Dole 100% juices. The taste you can't get anywhere but here.
Levi's jeans. They're your weekend wear, your evening wear, your cruise wear, your hanging around doing nothing wear. If you're lucky, you get to wear them to work. And now now at Sears, you can get them at really good prices. During Levi's days, men's unwashed Levi's jeans are $20.99, rinsed $22.99, and stone-washed $25.99. Not much to pay for an entire wardrobe. Levi's days, on now at Sears.
Our second matchup sees the I-35 rivalry begin to gain national attention as Texas State takes on Texas San Antonio. UTSA is still being thought of as probably a sleeping Group of 5 giant, though they have fallen back to the pack in recent years, especially since moving to the American Athletic Conference, and added to that they did lose pretty handily to Texas A&M last week. Still, the Roadrunners feature a strong running attack with the likes of Robert Henry Jr. and John Emery Jr., but I think it's going to have to fall on quarterback Owen McCown, that's Josh McCown's son, to step up more to lead the Roadrunner attack. Likewise, if this gets into a shootout, the defense is going to also have to need to make some big plays. The funny thing is, now even Texas State is seeing it as the up-and-coming program, given their recent announcement that they have accepted the Pac-12's invitation. Not to mention they dominated Eastern Michigan last week. So yeah, they're poised to make a lot of noise in the Group of 5. But right now you've got quarterback Brad Jackson leading a very high-powered offense and a passing attack featuring the likes of Bo Sparks and Chris Owen Jr. And yeah, there's still a lot of questions on defense, though, and what happens if they get into another shootout. Now, I do think the Roadrunners could have a chance if they really win the time of possession game. They ball control, they don't make a lot of stupid mistakes, but overall, the Bobcats are definitely the stronger team, and they do have a slightly better defense. So I like Texas State to win in a shootout here, so I think they're going to hold on in the victory.
Do you have a problem with cat box odor?
No, I don't.
Huh? Well, evidently you need Scoop Fresh scoopable litter from Fresh Step. It freshens even when you're not scooping. Yeah, why just scoop when you can scoop fresh? Oh.
Nokia. You already know how to use it. Nokia. Connecting people.
The Flyers. The Nordique. The shots! Eric Lindros travels to unfriendly territory as the Flyers take on the Nordique Tuesday on ESPN National Hockey Night.
Our third matchup is the Fightin' Blue Hens of Delaware taking on the Colorado Buffaloes. So yes, we're covering one of the two new FBS teams playing right now, and I don't know if we'll ever get to Missouri State. Their team isn't particularly good, so I'll have to try to find a way to work them in at some point. And yes, Delaware and Michigan do have the same helmets, so no, you're not being confused right there, but both of them basically copied Princeton. They were the first to do the winged helmet logos, so neither of them are exactly being original here. Now, the Fightin' Blue Hens did win their FBS debut last week, which was a game against FCS opponent Delaware State, a team I covered last year in Week 0, so if you want to learn more about them, try to track down that video. Now, the Blue Hens do feature a pretty strong run game with the 1-2 punch of Jonathan Silver and Saeed St. Fleur at running back, but I do think their defense really has a strength disadvantage right here. Now, the Buffaloes are coming off a rather surprising loss to Georgia Tech in their opener. They trailed most of the game and did manage to rally back a little bit, only to be done in by some really bad clock management. Jaguar Gator 9 did a video about it. I'll link to it in the show description. Now, the Buffaloes are led by quarterback Kyton Salter, who did manage to put up some pretty good numbers, But like always, it seems their defense is the big question mark here. Kind of ironic given their head coach's pedigree, but still, yeah, their defense is a little bit to be desired. Now, Delaware does have a very strong running game, much like Georgia Tech, and maybe they could keep the Fighting Blue Hens in it, but ultimately, I think the Buffaloes are definitely the stronger opponent here. They're going to win this one pretty handily. It's going to be by 2 or 3 possessions. So, yeah, Colorado will win.
Start a project with Minwax Wood Finish and turn new into treasured, ordinary into extraordinary, even pine into cherry. Because Minwax Wood Finish makes it easy to turn any project into a beautiful masterpiece. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Go ahead, scum. Make my day. Tough Soap Scum is no match for new X14 Soap Scum Remover, now with twice the power. It cleans soap scum better than Dow, without scrubbing. New X14 Soap Scum Remover. It's better.
To taste delicious ice cream is to remember how it feels to be a kid. The excitement, the fun, the absolute joy. So taste some luscious, cool, creamy ice cream. Ice cream makes you feel like a kid again.
Our final college matchup sees the Sun Devils of Arizona State taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Now, last year, this was the game that brought Arizona State running back Cam Scatterbo to the national forefront, but he's in New York right now, so someone else is going to have to step up for the Sun Devils. They do still have weapons like quarterback Sam Levitt and wide receiver Jordan Tyson. Wide receiver Jordan Tyson, but their running attack is now a triumvirate of Kaye Undu, Relique Brown and Kyron Brown, no relation to those last two. Not to mention, I still think their defense is still pretty questionable. I mean, they did beat FCS Northern Arizona last week, but again, that's an FCS opponent, so that comes with the territory. Now, Mississippi State is still trying to stabilize their program since the passing of Mike Leach. They had 1 year under their interim coach and then went 2-10 last year under Jeff Levy. So, yeah, they're still really struggling right now. They did beat Southern Mississippi last week, and that is technically an FBS opponent, so you could maybe put them a notch ahead of the Sun Devils. But they're mainly carried by their running back, Fluff Bothwell. Yes, his name is really Fluff Bothwell. And quarterback, Blake Shapen. Now, Starksville is a very tough place to play, especially when the Cowbells are going, but Arizona State's really the better team here. They'll probably win this game pretty handily. So, yeah, Sun Devils for the victory here.
Those first few days of yeast infection?
Forget it.
The itching and irritation?
Forget it.
The Gynolotrimine Combination Pack is here. The difference, this little tube of cream for external relief plus inserts for a fast cure. Gynolotrimine, the right cure, is such a relief.
Pittsburgh, legendary for tough steel, is legendary for an even tougher paint. Pittsburgh paints. Paints that smooth on easily, cover completely, and dry quickly to a lasting sheen. You put a lot of pride into your home. Protect it with a paint legendary for toughness. Pittsburgh paints. You work too hard to paint with anything less.
People always ask us plumbers why their drains run slow. Greasy, gunky buildup is why. Now you can treat this and prevent it from coming back with new Liquid Plumber Buildup Remover. Ordinary liquid drain openers remove clogs but flow past the greasy buildup. Liquid Plumber Buildup Remover releases millions of hungry enzymes that eat the gunk lining your pipes and keep your drains flowing free. New Liquid Plumber Buildup Remover gets the gunk that slows your drains.
Okay, so now we get to start our NFL coverage off with the Dallas Cowboys versus Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night. Now, we've already talked about the Micah Parsons trade, so we're not going to go into that here. That being said, there really isn't too much to talk about with the Dallas Cowboys right now. I mean, Dak Prescott is still there, CeeDee Lamb is still there. They traded with the Steelers for George Pickens. Their running backs are Javonte Williams and Mike Sanders, and yeah, that's about it. Now, you think the Philadelphia Eagles are a little bit hyped to rub a Super Bowl banner on the face of the Cowboys? I mean, the Eagles themselves haven't changed too much of their roster during the offseason. I mean, they got a new offensive coordinator, but that's really the only thing of concern. And look, I know it might sound strange, but sometimes, just sometimes, the Cowboys do exceed expectations when expectations are really low. Look at the 2016 team, I'd say the 2019 team, the 2021 team, all kind of went above and beyond the Call of Duty. But yeah, this is not going to be one of those times. The Eagles are going to win this one really big and really ugly. So yeah, Philadelphia will win.
Hi, guy. Nice bathrobe. What do you got, cheese for breakfast? I see. Toasted bagel, fresh tomato, melted mozzarella cheese. Very nutritious. Hey, do you mind if I split that with you? Just a little bite? I guess you do. Cheese. Good fast food for the makers of milk.
Please hold, Mr. Freeman.
Having a quick lunch, huh?
Yep.
Cottage cheese, chopped apples, grapes, nifty spoon. Very healthy.
Hold on
And
1
what
second.
else is
I'm
in there?
transferring.
Huh?
Nuts. Oh,
Whoops.
not you, Mr. Fox.
Cottage cheese. Good fast food for the makers of milk.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. What can you do? Well, carry American Express checks for two. The only traveler's checks that one of you purchased, but either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
I had a script for 148, 1900, calendar, 19. Thank you, 1 clear. 814 clear. You 2
Of all the things around your house that need batteries, there's one thing that needs a good, fresh battery most of all. See your Allstate agent for a free home fire safety brochure. And please, check the battery in your smoke detector often.
About football, I'll tell you with no time to waste, NFL Prime Monday is the place. 90 minutes of X's and O's from Theismann, James, Jaworski, and the rest of our pros. We've got roundtables with sports writers galore and Chris Mortensen with the story behind the score. We'll have live reports from the Monday night game and backstage with Julie Brown. She'll entertain. No matter who you are, no matter what you know, NFL Prime Monday. Back to your show.
NFL Prime Monday, tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, only on ESPN. Pick up the phone for the latest sports news from ESPN all day, every day.
95 cents per minute. Call 1-900-976. ESPN.
We now move on to the Friday night game being played in Sao Paulo, Brazil, between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, if the Chiefs thought that losing the Super Bowl meant that they wouldn't have to play the early game this year, they obviously thought wrong. And given the amount of injuries that happened in Sao Paulo last year, they might need to be a little bit worried and need to be a little careful. That being said, I do think the Chiefs have really revamped their offense a little bit. They revamped the offensive line. They've gotten more wide receivers in. They're opening up the play calling a little bit more. I think the idea is now manage the game when they need to, but not all the time. And so remember to have Patrick Mahomes uncork one every once in a while. And the defense can be great, but they are starting to get a little old, so that could raise some question marks there. Now, the Chargers have loaded up, particularly at the running back spot, including drafting Omarion Hampton, who seems poised to have a really big year. They helped shore up their wide receiver core a little bit by bringing back Keenan Allen to They've shored up their wide receiver core a little bit by bringing back Keenan Allen to help aid Ladd McConkey. That being said, I do think they still have some really big questions on defense. Joey Bosa isn't there anymore. Khalil Mack is now up there in age. Their secondary still has a lot of question marks. So the Chargers might have a slightly better team, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs. And I do think this will be close, but ultimately Kansas City is going to win this one. Maybe they doink it into their field goal. Who knows? But yeah, the Chiefs will win.
Time, 1934. Place, the Southeast. Crime, kidnapping, bank robbery, and murder. Suspects, Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker. Lovers whose rampage makes them legends. Killers whose brutality makes them targets.
Let him have it.
Bonnie and Clyde died as they lived, by the gun. Though immortalized and glamorized, they remained criminals who defied American justice. Wednesday on A&E.
Light. It is the first element of creation. Nothing brings it more elegantly or shapes it more beautifully than Anderson windows and patio doors. Come, live in the light of Anderson windows. Come home to Anderson.
Time to paint. Which paint has the colors you want? Which paint smooths on easily, dries quickly, evenly? Which paint lasts? Over a century of experience in every can. Tough, durable, a leader. Which paint? This paint. Pittsburgh Paints. You work too hard to paint with anything less.
Our next game is the Sunday night showdown between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. It's the game between everyone's favorite Super Bowl contenders, except for me. Until one of them beats the Chiefs in the playoffs, I'm still going with Kansas City. Now, the Ravens have focused mainly on building up their defense once again during the offseason. It got really banged up last year. I think that is what cost them in the long run. They did bring in DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver to help bolster the offense a little bit, but Derrick Henry is still going to be the main offensive weapon, I think, being the focal point of the running game. Now, the Bills have also focused on building up their defense. They drafted a lot of defenders. They signed Joey Bosa. They did manage to re-sign Travis Cook at running back, but I think they're still really lacking at wide receiver. Benjamin has not panned out as a big-time wide receiver just yet. I think maybe he needs some time, but right now I don't think Buffalo has that kind of patience. In the end, I have a little bit more faith in the Ravens than I do the Bills right now. I think the Bills window is really closing. It's not completely closed, but it's only open a sliver, I'd say. So yeah, the game's going to be close, but ultimately I think Baltimore's going to win, maybe with a late field goal.
Light walkers from Easy Spirit. With real cushioning and support, no other light shoe performs quite like them. Easy Spirit, the light shoe with the right support.
About football, I'll tell you with no time to waste, NFL Prime Monday is the place. 90 minutes of X's and O's from Theismann, James, Jaworski, and the rest of our pros. We've got roundtables with sports writers galore and Chris Mortensen with the story behind the score. We'll have live reports from the Monday night game and backstage with Julie Brown. She'll entertain. No matter who you are, no matter what you know, NFL Prime Monday. Back to your show.
NFL Prime Monday, tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, only on ESPN. Pick up the phone for the latest sports news from ESPN all day, every day.
95 cents per minute. Call 1-900-976-ESPN.
We finish up our football predictions with the Monday night game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears, where two new eras are starting. J.J. McCarthy becoming the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, and Ben Johnson calling plays for the Chicago Bears. Now, the Vikings are depleted at wide receiver right now. Rondale Moore is out for the season. Jordan Addison is suspended, but then they traded to bring back Adam Thielen, which should hopefully stabilize some things. And the Vikings had a pretty mostly quiet offseason. They really didn't attempt to bolster their offensive line except through the draft. They got a couple of defensive backs too, but there's some question marks there. The pressure is really going to be high, especially given the surprise success of last year, and they're going to really need to avoid the injury bug to avoid any real complications. Now, with the new coach and Ben Johnson, the Bears are installing a new offense for Caleb Williams, which is really now part of a tradition on their part at this point. Other than that, there really hasn't been too much change, just some new play calls for everyone to adjust to. I do think tight ends Cole Kmet and Colson Loveland are going to have some pretty big years, as they're going to be Williams' main security blankets in this new offense. And DeAndre Swift is a good running back, but again, I just don't know how much he's going to really be utilized. He doesn't have the knuckles to his Sonic, so I don't know how that's really going to pan out. And yet, again, I don't know how this is really going to turn out too much. I don't expect the Vikings to dominate, but the Bears have too many questions right now, and they have a lot of adjustments they still need to make. Williams played all right during the preseason, but other than that, not great. So I like Minnesota in a close one here. So yeah, the Vikings will win. And we'll be back to wrap things up after the break.
The Corolla Special Lease program is the big news at this Toyota-thon.
Right, Squire. For as little as $179 a month, you can lease the all-new Corolla.
Wow, more room, more safety, power, and a Corolla Special Lease program starting at $179. Great car!
Great deal. Toyota dealers are really delivering value with this Corolla Special Lease program.
I got the Corolla I wanted at the price I wanted.
Now is the time to make your Toyota-thon Corolla deal.
Get to your Toyota dealer.
Now!
Look at him. George Carey eating a multigrain cereal. Can you believe it? George never liked the taste of anything nutritious until he heard there was something new from Cheerios. Multigrain Cheerios has the nourishment of multigrains, but the way Cheerios mixes together toasted corn, wheat, rice, and oats, nutrition never tasted so good. Multigrain Cheerios. Nutrition never tasted so good.
Yeast infections are no joke, so I don't fool around when it comes to a cure. I use MySelect 7. It has the same prescription strength medicine as gyne-lotrimin, but it costs a lot less. So my choice, my cure, is MySelect's.
Miserable sinus and nasal congestion. Last year you wanted a prescription, but this year Tavis D in its full prescription strength is available without a prescription. Tavis D, 1 tablet, 12 hours, and now no prescription.
Okay, so to wrap things up, on the college end, I like Illinois over Duke, Texas State over UTSA, Colorado over Delaware, and Arizona State over Mississippi State. Then on the NFL side, I like Philadelphia over Dallas, Kansas City over the LA Chargers, Baltimore over Buffalo, and Minnesota over Chicago. Alright, so in all likelihood, the next 3 videos are going to be football predictions. Maybe I'll get, I don't think I'm going to get to the random trade review on Doomsday Clock just yet, but, there might be a wrestling review in there, I'm not entirely sure. There's no real updates with the ESPN app right now. I mean, see my All In and Clash in Paris reviews for what's going on there, but I am still planning to do All Out. Yes, I am aware they announced the thing with HBO Max, but it's not exclusive to HBO Max. You can still get it through Amazon or I think YouTube, at least here in the States. Internationally, it's on Triller, so there are still means to watch it. You don't have to necessarily start an HBO Max subscription. But like I said, the next videos are definitely going to be football. And the games we're going to be covering next week. On the college end, we'll have Georgia taking on Tennessee, Florida Atlantic taking on Florida International, and Florida taking on LSU. On the NFL side, we'll have New England versus Miami, Carolina versus Arizona, and Tampa Bay versus Houston. Predictions. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember that you can support my work at patreon.com/sleepytime for Cat Productions, or just click the link in the description. Also, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can be made aware of further videos.